Hello and welcome to my somewhat unusual deck profile. So I've made like a lot of Astral Poet deck profiles at this point now. This here isn't going to be like the normal kind of card explanation rundown. Instead, I'm going to do a show and tell of maximum rarity Astral Poets now that it's been completed. So to start with, and this will probably be the last time I milk this type of video, maybe. There are 4 copies of ASR Valkyrian. So ASR Valkyrian has the gold foiling, the gold borders and everything. If we were to compare it to the other Valkyrians that exist, we have the original SSR over here from Infinity's Cradle, and then we've got the other SSR from the SSR pack. That is the one that comes in the Astral Force. So I actually have one SSR pack because originally I got like 3 copies of the cards that I needed, which were Uranus as an origin deity of Heavenly Light Uranus, and there was Phenomenus and there was Decay. I got 3 copies of each of those as singles, but I got the SSR pack to get my 4th copy of each one. So I have like 1 copy of each of the extra SSRs basically that I don't need, which is why I have this lying around. Never used it ever. I did use this though back in the day because this was the original high rarity. Of course now they replaced with an even more high rarity, which is the gold one. And the funny thing is this already came out as well in between, so they kept on making more and more Valkyrian high rarities. Yeah, quite nuts. I'm actually glad I didn't go around collecting these. I was a bit more of a fan of this one personally, just my personal taste I think, so I didn't really bother collecting these. But then they announced ASR Valkyrian, I was like thinking, wow, I'm so glad I'm not getting these. So I saved myself a little bit of money, obviously, but it's quite a cheap card to begin with, so it's not that big of a deal. Or at least it was when it came out. I don't know what the price is on this now, but the Valkyrian ASRs look very similar to the first SSRs, except that there's just gold replacing certain parts of it. So the text, the great icon, the border around the name and everything at the bottom there, and obviously the slashes, air slashes that are going on, those are also in gold. But very similar and very nice. It's centered, that's why I like it. This one isn't. This is aligned more to the right, and you've got the sort of encounter card looking bordering going on, like the black border thing. But you do have a lot of bare elements, like the grade 5 here is bare, the bottom here is bare as well, so some people like that. In fact, in Japan this card was actually cheap when it came out, and of course it was the same in the English version as well. This card was cheaper compared to a lot of the other ASRs because this might be more preferred, and it was cheaper as well, so why would you waste so much on this when you could just get this version, which was cheaper and was 1 a case? Whereas this was a ridiculous pull rate, and thank God we're done with this sort of rarity because it's just revolting. the scarcity of ASRs. If you're a Grand Blue player, I do feel for you because Night Rose is disgustingly hard to get, and it's not even a BCS. Like, you'd have so much easier luck finding a BCS promo than you would find an ASR. It's just that insane, or an RLR. Then we've got 3 copies of BCS Strasse Dragon. So there are actually 4 copies because I got this back in Worlds back in January 2020. So there's actually 4 of these. I was playing just 3 for the Spring Fest this time around. I have played 4 previously though. I did play that in the last few events that I entered with it. So the 4 copies are good, but because of how the format has changed now, I need to make room for an additional grade 2, which was the Phenomenus of Constellation cards, because I needed more aggressive beaters because of how the pace in the game has changed really with heal guidance and everything. I decided that's probably the direction to go. But to compare it to the other versions of Strasse Dragons, we do have the SVR, which was the original one that came out, and we have the SSR from the SSR pack as well. So the thing with these is that the BSF of Strasse Dragon is also just kind of centered like normal, not zoomed in or anything. Same goes to the SVR, although the SVR is a bit more zoomed in actually, I think. No, it's not. It's the same. I think it's the same. But this here is more aligned to the left. Sorry, the right. While the left side has the gold stamp icon, and it has like the Genesis Clan name over here and the name of the card. Of course, it's all bare as well. We've got the encounter cards kind of style black border as well, just like with the Uranus I showed earlier and the Valkyrian. So sorry, the Valkyrian that I showed earlier. The Uranus is over here. So this is what the SSR for Uranus looks like. Again, black borders. There's nothing like here around the names and stuff. So zoomed in as well, aligned right. So that's the SSR version. But here we've got the 4 Spring Fest Uranus, which is more standard looking. It is pretty bare though, just like with Astral's Dragon. So the SVR Strasse is the one that had like the borders, but not the BCS one. And the same goes for the Spring Fest Uranuses. It's bare just like the SSRs, but it's not zoomed in or aligned. So aligned to the right. So it's it looks a bit different, and I'm not sure which version I prefer. But the other thing that's interesting is that the Spring Fest hot stamp says 2020 on it. So they didn't destroy the original ones. They basically gave them away again 2 years later. Originally, I picked up these BSF Strasse Dragons at Worlds. I basically queued up. Since I was the premium player, I didn't actually get them as participation because it was for V standard format. So I basically just stood at the queue where people were picking up their cards from registering. And I just asked, one person, are you selling? The next person, are you selling? And then I just got them. So it's quite easy to get when everyone in the world that has them are all in one place as well. So that's how I got my 4 copies. And of course, with Springfest coming up very soon after, I was dreading the fact that I have to go all over the place to find this, because obviously instead of going to Worlds where everyone's in one place, Springfest is held in different venues and there's only 3 given out each event. So that sounded like it was going to be a bit more hassle. And obviously I just want to have a nice break after collecting that stuff, because I just don't like getting burnt out. So fortunately we won 2 Springfests, so I was dreading going around hunting these again, but big thanks to my team that helped make this possible, helped make getting this deck max rarity'd possible. So I basically played this deck in the tournament, and then I won both the premiums with this deck, and I kept winning more and more. I actually played 2 of these during Oberhausen, because I won 2 I won 1, and then my teammate sold me the other copy in Brussels. So I added them to my deck. But deck log, by the way, if you were to go on deck log right now, does not have this card, this version of the card. So I had to put in the SSR ones, the original SSRs that I had. But in the actual tournament, I've checked with the judges, I was able to play these anyway. But when my deck log is published, well, it already is, because technically you publish your own deck log now. That's just how the system works nowadays. But basically, there's no sort of like record that I played this in the tournaments. But yes, this was actually played. This card was won in the first Springfest and then played in the second Springfest of Europe. Fun fact. But these are my 4 copies. And speaking of the 2020, by the way, I do need to show you something else. It's the same thing with the Malkuth Melech as well. They also have 2020 on them, so they're both quite old. And the thing is, if you were to compare it to, for example, the other cards, over here we've got the Agnoses, which were given out this year. You can see how the congratulations hot stamps, they're different. They don't have the year, they don't say Springfest on it, it just simply says congratulations. That's it. So you can tell which ones are new and which ones are older, sort of based on that. Same goes with the Amaterasu as well. Amaterasu says congratulations, there's no year, there's no Springfest on it. Even the styling's different because they have the text boxes. The over triggers though are full arts, the ones that are given out in D format, so that's something that's a bit different. So other than that, that's basically it for the Uranus part. Next we have the 4 copies of this trial deck Uranus. I went for this version. It looks a bit more like an SVR, but basically this Uranus is, in my opinion, the rarer one. Obviously the SSR one's won a case. This one here, I can't remember the duration, it's been so long, but it just felt more like the OG. I kind of just like this one more. To be honest, I do have an SSR lying around somewhere, but I'm not really a fan of playing it. I'd rather play this one. I like this one more. It's got the gold border as well. Strangely, gold gold is kind of nice. Like the thing is we've generally didn't appreciate that much, but I guess Bushiroad cancelling SVRs from Silver Dust Blaze onwards has kind of made me sort of appreciate gold borders even more now, because they're actually not quite as everyday as they used to be now, because we don't get gold borders as much anymore. Then we've got the 4 copies of Eos Ancestors Dragon in SP. Very nice. Not worth much though. This is the original one that came out, and that's basically it. It's kind of a simple one to just move on from. 2 copies of Arcturus that I play in my deck. Obviously I have 4 copies as well that I got from release. 4 Phenomena of Constellation. I do not have an SP version, so I can't do a comparison here, but this is obviously the SSR one. I think the SSR one's more popular anyway, but the SP and SSR, in terms of like how easy it is to collect, I think SP is slightly harder to get because it's not one a case technically, because there are more SPs than there are SSRs per case. Like there's like basically there weren't enough SPs to get all the SPs, whereas you always get every SSR in every case. So technically the SP one is hard to get, but the SSR one's more popular for obvious reasons. Then there's Decay as well. Same thing that I would have said about Phenomenus as well. It's also zoomed in. I've got a triple rare one from Constellation. I don't actually know why that one got reprinted. I guess it is a needed card, but if you can't get Origin Deity of Heavenly Light, then there's not as much a point of reprinting that card, because Heavenly Light is a bit harder to get, if anything. Then there's Bakruk's Stratification, which I got 4 copies of. We play the original starter for Shinemon, Pound New Star, just to keep it within theme. I've got 4 of the foil critical triggers for Cyber Tiger from the Trial deck, and same goes for Kukuhime, also from the Trial deck as a foil. Then we have 4 copies of the crit trigger, Centaur crit. This is the new one that came out in Clan Collection. This used to be a draw Pathfinder guard, but then they released this, and at times I have tried the draw PG as well, even the SP version, but at the moment I'm leaning on the Centaur crits. Obviously this wasn't good for me when I played against Dauntless Reverse. Quite a handful of things went wrong. Going second of course helps to set up the break ride faster. Not having Origin Deity, having like Uranus and Valkyrian in your hand, or Eos Ancestors Dragon, which could have also been a PG. Not having to care of Just Path to even search. These things obviously made it so that when I did have this card in my hand, it almost became one of those like occasional situations where you just wish you were playing the draw PG, but I'm not going to base that on that one game. It is what it is, and besides, my first time playing against it. Maybe I'll play against it better next time. But yeah, 4 copies of the Sentinel crits. There is a double rare one as well. I don't know which I'd say is rarer, but in terms of like pullability, because obviously Clan Collection triple rares aren't quite the same as these pack foils. They are easy to get. This used to be 4 copies of the triple rare heal trigger, which is the Witch of Big Pots Loria, but now I am playing the grade 3 heals, which are much cheaper than Triadic foil heals. So obviously they're good because they're grade 3s as well, which is useful for a whole bunch of reasons as explained in previous videos. And of course we've got the Astral Planes. I have 2 copies, I don't know why. One came from the SSR pack that I picked up, so I've just been sitting on this one. There is actually a difference though. This is the original one, and this one is the SSR one. You can see the golden foiling on there, and even the sides here. This one didn't have it. It just has sparkles. That's it really. I don't know which one I personally prefer, but both are quite nice. Some slight variation. They're obviously not worth much because you only need 1 Astral Poet. There's just too many of these Astral Planes. Sorry, you only need 1 Astral Plane. But yeah, going back to the PG thing, the PGs I could have played, like I do have the SP Kushinadas, but something I picked up as well during the weekend are the 4 copies of the Judge promos. So that's just something from my collection. You can kind of compare it to the SP here. The SP is obviously zoomed in, whereas the Judge promo isn't. The SP is shiny, whereas the Judge promo isn't. It's just a very nice common with a hot stamp on it, and that's basically the main thing. There is also, unfortunately, it's a bit of a shame that we don't have this one in English. This is the VMC promo. It looks like an SP, so people will get these from tournaments. It's a really nice promo, VMC promo. We haven't got a lot of these VMC arts in English, sadly. This is kind of one of the ones I'd like to see get released, with the foiling as well, because the foiling is so good with it. But yeah, this is kind of like the difference really between them. The artwork is just different, but obviously other than that it's very similar to the other two, like the way the Rarity styling is set and all. Of course that one doesn't have the foil, this Judge Promo here doesn't have the foil, but this one and this one do. But yeah, the only VMC foils we've actually had are these ones, which is the Overlord and the Alphas they gave out last year in BSF online. They're the only ones that came from Japan that we got here. Although Japan technically doesn't have the Overlord for Chara Expo, I think. I know there's a Blast Blade and I think a Blaster Dark. I think they had an Overlord as well, but I could be mistaken. But yeah, I do hope they do come out with more VMC artworks. I think Chrono Jet also has a VMC artwork as well, if I'm not mistaken. That's been released in English. But yeah, I really do wish they bring out more of these artworks. There's some other cards, like old cards from back in the day, like Dragheart Luard, which never got an English version, which had like it was more like a darker version, like it had an orange background. That version would have been cool to have in English as well. I'm not really a fan of World Original as a concept, because it's just artificial exclusivity, but I think it would be nice if everyone got to appreciate these different artworks. It just feels like a waste of art, to be honest. So I think that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. You enjoyed this little presentation of show and tell Max Rarity Astral Poets. Just to kind of go through it one more time to show some of the big major cards all in one go. We have, I think I've misplaced my my Strasse Dragon somewhere. Ah, there it is. I can add this as well to the picture, the fourth copy. But yeah, let's just take these out of the shop. These are the very high rarity ones, all in one place. Yeah, so other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys around. Goodbye.